Do you know what it feels like loving someone who's in a rush to throw you away?
No.
Well, you should, because that's how I imagine the 7th Armoured Division feel right now. That's what you did, Andy. You threw them away. Welcome to War with a Mate, with me, James.
And me, Andy.
Andy, you are a deserter.
I'm not a deserter.
Oh, a tactical retreat, was it? Is that what you call it?
Yeah, they're still in the theatre of war.
The conflict at Fort Maddalena has taken a turn, ladies and gentlemen.
Has indeed.
It's
over.
It's done. It's done. And not in the way that you might think. So, for those who are fresh into this is War with a Mate. We are James.
And Andy.
And we are playing SPI's The Campaign for North Africa.
Indeed we are.
In its entirety, but starting with a little practice run of 6 turns in the Italian offensive, Graziani's offensive.
Yes, and we're currently in turn 1 of stage 3.
We're staring down the barrel of the end. This is it. It's close to the end, because all that's coming up is your movement, because we finished off mine today.
We did.
With minimal combat.
Yes, I left. Do you want
exited.
to explain what you did?
So last time you heard us, I had boxed Andy in at Fort Maddalena, which had become the fulcrum of our conflict so far, a spot along the border of Egypt and Libya. Now, this was originally the site of my primary air force. It was where a lot of my fighters were stationed at an airfield at Fort Maddalena, and Andy decided to be a cheeky git and swoop in there. Don't you grin at me, you monster. He decided to swoop in and pick off all of my SGSUs, the ground support units that support the aircraft. Killed them all, and then since, we've been fighting over that spot. And last week, I boxed you in with the Mileti Division, with the 1st Black Shirts, and then the 62nd Marsimara, I believe it is. And you were in a tough spot, because your 7th Armoured Division was the only real division there, and they were pinned by my aircraft.
Yes, they were way out of position, and then the aircraft didn't help.
You had a few riflemen that were also hanging around, trying to bolster your forces.
Yes.
And you were in there, hook, line, and sinker. You didn't really know what was coming next, and I was thinking it was a sure thing that you were done, that they were all written off.
I was pretty sure as well. I mean, I think I mentioned to you during the game, because of the pace we're playing, I moved them, and then I've been worrying about it for a month.
Yeah, you've been wrestling with anxiety for about, God, it has been weeks that we've been stuck there. God, it's been that long that we've been fighting over this little fort. And I was thinking, this is it. It's written off. I've got 3 divisions, closing in on your 1 division, plus change. But what we found is that even though you're pinned, if you commit no units to the close assault, then you are forced to retreat 3 hexes. Yes. And retreat 3 hexes you did.
Yes, at the price of 3 disorganization points for everything involved.
Yes.
Which is quite a blow, but I weighed it up and it seemed like less of a blow than losing the whole thing.
And the benefit for me is I actually gain organization points for winning a combat, which this constitutes, because as a direct result of close assault, you have retreated because you couldn't or wouldn't commit any resources to it because it simply wasn't viable for you.
No, I think if I had, it would have been a wipe of one of my more important divisions.
You would have been overrun quite comfortably, I think, as well. What did happen, though, is barrage. I managed to get off a barrage. I pinned... did I pin any? I did. I pinned more of you, man. I pinned
infantry with barrage pin, not bomb pin, which is different.
Yes, I pinned you with my bombers, and then I pinned you some more with some guns, and that meant that your combined arm strength with your infantry and your tanks would have been more or less unusable.
I think it would have come out of as 2 when it should have been... Without the combined arms things, it would have been 6, and if you hadn't pinned the infantry, it would have been in the 80s or something. So a
massive blow,
huge discrepancy. Yeah.
So in the end, you decided, don't commit anything, pull away, and pull away you did, which left me in a position where I was considering chasing after your guys as they ran off into the desert back to the east, and I have my 4th black shirts, which are just a few hexes away. This will be in the picture that we pop on the Instagram this week for the episode to illustrate what this looks like. But in the end, I decided, the 4th black shirts can't move because of how far away they were. And when it comes to the Maletti division that I was considering pushing forward, because of the distance they would have to travel, it would mean they've already committed to close assault, which drove you away. If they were to commit to a second close assault, it would push them beyond the capability allowance that they're actually allowed to follow through with.
Yeah. So the limit wasn't you deciding not to push your troops. It was you can push them past the point you needed to.
Yes, it's an actual mechanical limitation. I wasn't allowed to.
Yeah, it wasn't a choice to hold back.
So I kept them back because I could move them a little forward, but it would just be chasing something I wouldn't really catch. And I didn't want to leave more men out there. Even though they could bolster the 4th black shirts realistically, I didn't want to risk that. So I'm keeping them back. However, while the push was unsuccessful by yourself, I've managed to reclaim Fort Maddalena. I have my aircraft there still. I've lost the SGSUs because you slaughtered them. Yep. However, an eye for an eye, Andrew. An eye for an eye. Because down in the oasis of Siwa, at the very south of the game map, I have arrived with my Saharan detachment.
Yes, and you've butchered my SGSU that's there because, well, I left it completely undefended. Major fuck up I've made. We've talked about this a bit, but I've left the south very exposed, and this is the first time I've paid for it in a very explicit way.
Barren, I believe, is a good way to describe the south when it comes to your men. Completely empty. Not a sight of the Commonwealth down there. And I've got it now. I've got Siwa. I'm holding it. And the win condition for me, for one of the win conditions, is to hold both Siwa and Mersa Matruh. Mersa Matruh, of course, was the site of a bit of a dogfight a few episodes ago.
Last stop stage, you bombed the road near it.
I did. And I've now got my eyes set on it, because if I can hold that and Siwa when this whole offensive ends, if I've got both, I win.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the issue I have. I don't have a clean or particularly appealing option to deal with Siwa.
No.
Which means I very much put all my baskets at the top of the map.
All your baskets?
I have one basket at the top of the map, and I put all my eggs in it.
Whereas I've just put one egg down in Siwa,
yep.
A lone egg, the Saharan detachment. But that egg, turns out if you hurl it hard enough, you'll have egg on your face. And that's what you've got, my friend. Egg on your face.
Indeed.
But I wasn't without losses, I will admit. Because when the 62nd finished their movement and arrived to bolster everybody at Fort Maddalena, I lost tanks. And when I say I lost tanks, I rolled breakdown for my tanks, and what did I get? I got double sixes. All of the eyes of the snakes collectively. How many eyes do spiders have? 8. I thought it was legs. Is it legs and eyes?
Yeah, they've got
very uniform.
2 groups of 4.
If they lose a leg, do they lose an eye?
When humans lose a leg, do they lose an eye?
Sometimes.
I guess the answer's the same for spiders.
Well, by that merit, maybe it's the same. However, in this instance, it's the case that I've sent down that egg, but I have lost some tanks because when the 62nd resolved their breakdown, unfortunately, there's been some loss. I had 9 tow points of tanks. I rolled double 6, which means that's 75% loss. So that's a total of 7 tow points of tanks broken down.
Because you always round up unless you have 1.
And I didn't have 1. I had fucking 9. Had being the operative term. Now I've got 2.
Which is much more manageable from my perspective.
But because our good old sage Matthew, who is an ardent emailer who drops us in some corrections which are well needed, we now know that they can limp back. They can wander back to a safe spot sometime in the near future.
Yes.
However, not soon enough, I fear. I would love to have those tanks back right now.
I'm sure you would, because they will make a big difference, because I think towing them back is several turns, fixing them is they're out of this for
This immediate
a while.
situation, yes, they are not going to be back for a good few op stages. So it means I'm out. I'm without tanks realistically for them. However, I now have Fort Maddalena back. You've been pushed further east, and because of the fact some of them were pinned when they were moved, it means now you can't actually voluntarily move your 7th and some of the other guys.
No, I can't move the 7th or the 2 infantry divisions.
Without breaking off those pinned units.
Yes.
Detaching them from your groups.
Well, they can't use more than half their CPA, and they used it in the retreats.
Yeah.
So they are stationary.
What a shitter. I can't really describe it as anything else, Andy. You've had a nightmare, and I feel a little bit wry, a little bit smug.
I mean, to be honest, I'm glad to get those units out of there.
They're not out of there. They are still in danger.
I guess I'll rephrase that. I came into this play session expecting to just lose the 7th.
Yes, I came into this play session expecting you to lose the 7th.
Yes.
The fact that we found that little portion of the rules that allows you to retreat by default.
Yes.
Where you don't commit anything and you're forced to move back.
Is huge help.
We also found out something which we'd completely omitted previously, which is reactions.
Yes, we hadn't really considered them or thought about them, but when we were looking through the rules, we found them, and it's cleared a lot of stuff up, because I was like, why are there all these things mentioning moving on your turn specifically? And then it's like, oh, this is the thing you can do. So when a unit moves next to you, you can
respond,
react and retreat.
Yes, which is something that you mentioned earlier on today. In hindsight, you would have loved to do that.
I would have done that in this situation rather than go through the
default retreat
from not putting the units in.
Yes, because it's cost you organization points. It's cost you CPA that could have been used maybe more practically if you had the opportunity to. You could have moved them in a different angle, different direction. I'm sure there's a million and one things that you could have done differently. But we didn't realize reactions were a thing. I certainly haven't, because that would have changed the way I navigated a few combats, possibly.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a big thing that if you're not taking into account, you're like not fully understanding the combat, I don't think.
No, and that's another beauty of this practice run.
Why I'm glad we're doing this scenario.
Because we can't really have this kind of situation in the main play, because if we fuck this up in the main game, that's it. We've lost units. We've lost a portion of the game that we would need to win the remaining 9 years of the game.
Yes.
9 years, by the way. Very, very generous.
Very optimistic for our current play speed, but what we're aiming for, I guess, which is mad to say.
Yeah, but today, again, we've talked about it as well. This has given us a shot in the arm, more faith that this is speeding up. Even now, because a lot of today was rule checking. It was looking at retreat, figuring out how that works. It was figuring out all of these fringe cases.
Yeah, it was completely... I think if you took us doing the rule checks out, which were also, for the most part, double checks rather than...
It was us confirming that we were right.
It wasn't us, learning the rules. But it was probably half an hour, maybe an hour of actual us doing stuff.
Yes.
Outside of rule checks.
The remainder was us making sure we were definitely right with fringe cases like the retreat, figuring out what reactions were and whether or not they come into effect now. A lot of it was essentially seeing how you can escape from the situation.
Yeah. Well, I think I said to you while we were doing it, I'm looking for the rules for a way out.
And you found one, and it worked. I
did find one, yeah.
It goes to show that even in those pinches, there are ways to get out. So that was a lot of fun to navigate, because it's given us reactions as another weapon in our arsenals, which we'd completely overlooked. So that's something we'll be able to play around with, and I imagine will come up next op stage, because it's very precarious around Maddalena still. I've managed to take the settlement back. However, I've got my black shirts further east than your guys who've retreated.
Yes.
You've got a division or two loitering around the area. And from what I understand, you've got your eyes set on Bardia.
I was thinking about it. Maybe not now. I think this will be... This op stage for me, I'm not planning on any combat. I'm wanting to get a lot of my guys back into the 7th, so that's a complete unit. Because there's a lot of guys who started detached.
You want to bring them back?
I want to bring them back because I've noticed with the 7th, it's a really strong armor division, but it's not had the infantry or artillery support for me to really be able to use it effectively.
Which has given me the perfect opportunity every time I've had a chance to barrage or drop a bombing run with bombers. I've been going for your infantry so that the combined armor rules fall apart and then you can't use your armor. So it's left us in a fun position where we've now got a bit of a dance between Maddalena and Bardia, because Bardia has a very narrow corridor between the road and a bunch of escarpments, which means that if I can hold that with my Libyan divisions that are currently up there, then you can't really push past without a significant force.
Although I am now going to mention something that I've been excited about, and I think it's too late for you to change it, so I'm just going to mention it.
Okay.
Next turn, my fleet comes online.
Yes.
And it can bombard basically anyone within 2 hexes of the coast.
It can, yes.
So I'm excited to be getting them in.
You might want to double check the hexes that my Libyans are in.
Your first Libyans.
Yes.
I'm not going for them.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, if you're looking at them, I've been careful with them. I've done my best to make sure they're not in that range.
No, I have noticed you've kept that in mind, but it does mean if I do want to go for Bardia, which is on the coast, if you want to attack it, if I do manage to claim it, you have to worry about my fleet support.
Yes.
But also, because the fleet can move basically down the whole coast, I can hit you on maps A or B as well.
Yes, which is an issue because I do have a lot of coastal stuff on maps A and B.
Yeah, and I need to double check. It's not just bombarding units. They can also do the bombard feature. So they can bombard roads.
They can go for roads.
Stuff like that.
They can go for ports, I believe.
Yeah, basically anything
that can be
and within 2 hexes of the coast they can do.
And there's a lot of stuff around the coast, would you believe it? Those ports especially, for some reason they put them right on the coast.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have done that tactically.
No.
I would have put my important ports way off, like in the middle of the desert probably.
Well, you put them down to the south on the Great Sand Sea, and you do a different thing.
Yes, because you don't have, I've noticed that actually, the Commonwealth have a massive flaw. They don't have boats that go across sand.
No, they wouldn't invent that till the 60s after the war.
Oh, I see. Is that one of your history segments?
Yeah, we'll be doing land submarines.
Nerd. I'm very excited to see how this pans out because it's become much more of a game than it was a long time ago. When we started this off in the first op stage, it was us fumbling around in the sand.
Yeah, it feels like I'm not wrestling with the game anymore. I'm competing with you.
Yes.
Which it didn't actually feel like, I'd say, during op stage 1.
Oh, God, no.
During op stage 1, probably most of the way through op stage 2.
Yeah, I would say so.
I didn't feel like you were the biggest threat, if that makes sense.
No, the biggest threat in op stage 1.
The biggest threat was I put something somewhere and then I've misunderstood the rules and it's vulnerable, or
which
I
I've
have to move
had.
it back, or
yeah, we
had a lot of mistakes like that. But now it feels like good enough grip of the rules that it's now us using the rules against each other.
Yeah,
like
I mean,
we're playing a game.
Today, you being able to get away, I was like, damn, you've made a good move there. It's a tactical decision. You've cost yourself organization points. You've done it in a suboptimal way, but you've got away.
Yeah, I've
escaped.
kept the division weaker rather than not having the division.
Exactly.
Which is what I was expecting to come into today with, to be honest.
Yeah, I was thinking it's a sure thing that you will be losing men today because of the pinning, because of the positioning of the 4th. I thought that was a good fallback, that you can't really go further east as a retreat without things falling completely apart.
Well, we had a rule clarification for that was very important, which is a unit has to end the movement segment within 2 hexes
in
to
order
be
to move
able
again.
to move again during the same phase. But if a unit like retreats into another unit's 2 hex range, that doesn't suddenly give them the impetus to move. which was an important thing we had to look at in terms of retreats and what would happen there.
Yeah, that was, because that was a thing that, again, the retreat really spelled out for me, because for a while I was thinking, how does this mechanic work? It shouldn't work, but it is, because if you factor in retreats, it makes perfect sense. Another part of the game that we've overlooked, I did find an error today in the rules, didn't I?
Yes, case number.
Yes, a case number error. And we don't come across these as often anymore, because we've read through all of the rules, we've now come to grips with them, and it wasn't an important one. It's me nitpicking, if anything. I feel maybe even bad at this point, because I've come to have a certain level of respect for the game, which is, it was talking about the win conditions for the game, and it said they were in 60.71. They're actually in 60.81. So that was when I was looking at Siwa and Mercer Matru being held. That's when I determined that. So a small nitpick, not quite in my angry rule addenda, maybe in my more calm and accepting rule
Just
addenda.
a rule addenda,
Not ones that make me want to fucking scream.
Yeah.
But all in all, it's been a fun session that has moved the pieces around in a significant way, and I think has really poised the game to play out in a way that I hope it does for the main campaign, which is that it's not flash in the pan action, it's slow, glacial movement, which I think will give the game a lot more fun and tension than blowing each other out of the sand.
Which is also matching with the research I'm doing for the history thing, where it's like, a battle might be a month.
Yes.
It's not. Not gonna lie, I was going in with almost like the medieval perspective of like, they sort of line up or meet at one place, and then it's like a decisive day.
Yes, that's what Maddalena looked like for, well, I think all of last week it looked like that.
Yeah.
But instead, here we are with a renewed sense of understanding. And it turns out, no, the game it moves slowly, and rightly so. Because if this started to go any faster, I'd probably have a panic attack, thinking that I've blown my load and there's no way to realistically continue with these strong units if I've expended all of their capability, all of their ammunition, and then you poise for a counterattack that would push me further west.
Yeah.
So right now my focus is on Mercer Matru. I need to hold that northern corridor along Bardia and then push along the road.
Which is also my entire focus, is holding that north bit, because that road is, because of the way movement works, if you can get a foothold on that road, you can strike incredibly deeply into like enemy territory.
It's paved with gold,
that
road. It's perfect. It's the perfect leverage point. So I think our focus is probably going to end up there over turn 2.
Yes, absolutely. And one thing I really started to appreciate today,
I think we've probably got the same thing.
Yes, the cohesion rules.
Absolutely.
Getting more appreciation for them seemed like a really elegant thing, and like, you can push your units, and if they win a fight, they get it back.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we talked about it much, actually.
Because you get free organization points if you win a fight.
Yeah, you start at a static 0, and it can go up or down. The maximum it can go to up, I think it's 10, plus 10 is the maximum.
Yeah.
And it goes to a potential negative 26.
Yes.
At which point your unit is essentially completely dysfunctional.
It's done.
They can't attack willingly. They surrender on contact with air, essentially. You end up with a unit that doesn't function. And if you win combat, as you said, you get an additional 3 cohesion. If you have to retreat in certain circumstances, you lose cohesion. If you push people over their usual CPA, they lose cohesion.
Which is where I think the interesting thing comes in for me.
Balance.
Is you can push people past their CPA allowance, like you're pushing them harder.
Yeah.
And that has a cohesion cost. But if you think you're going to a fight you're going to win, or even better for you, if you've won a fight previously, you burn them off separately from CPA. They're like a buffer, which makes it an interesting thing of like, do I want to push these units into a fight and then they'll be worse off in the fight?
Yes.
So I think that is a
delicate
very
dance.
interesting mechanic that I'm starting to appreciate in a way I think I didn't before this session.
Yeah, the way it works, it actually flows very, very well in the game. So I'm interested to see how that pans out across a broader scale of the game over a longer period of time.
Yeah,
because now it does seem to be balanced.
Yeah, because I don't know about you, but I've been pushing a couple of guys into negative or pretty close, either hoping they win a battle or being like, you're more useful one hex across, as it were.
I've been quite reckless, I think, with mine, where I've pushed them, but I haven't been looking at it from the victory standpoint. I've just kind of went, this is now the value they'll have, so I'll take it.
Yeah.
So when I got that today, when I pushed you back without them having to spend ammunition, I've essentially traded capability points
for ammo,
and also to gain cohesion when they won that conflict against you without firing at you. So it means in the end, they've actually just got a net positive.
Yes.
Because they didn't have to overexert in order to get that. So I've ended up with some guys in pretty much the entirety of the Mileti division has now +3 cohesion.
Which is massive, actually. Like,
it gives them that
affects morale, and it also gives you that movement buffer.
Yes.
If you do ever want to push them.
I've got a stopgap now that I can fall back on. It's a safety net, which is going to be very useful to hold that area.
It makes whoever's got it more like dynamic.
Yeah, exactly. You've got more boundary to bounce off on either side.
Because you could sort of do the plodding thing where they win fights and they never go over. And they gradually just get to a point where it's like, this is a hardened, well-trained division. They have a morale boost on anyone they fight.
Well, the two big things that stood out to me are infantry being able to move a lot more.
Yes.
And also guns being able to both barrage and close assault after moving.
Yes.
Which for me is... because I fucking love a barrage.
I think it's your favourite mechanic?
Barrage is my favourite mechanic.
Yeah.
There's something about it. I just love it. I love the idea of just sitting your guns down and just blasting the guy from across the dunes, tearing apart their stuff, pinning down a unit. And it's worked wonders today.
Oh, yeah.
Even today, I think it probably played some level of impact on your decision, I would presume.
Oh, massive. Because in that initial thing, if you hadn't pinned the infantry, it would have been much more of a toss-up in my head of...
Do
I just go for this here?
Yeah, because you could have taken out some of my guys.
I mean...
It wouldn't have been complete victory on my side. I would have came out with losses.
I mean, if you hadn't pinned the infantry, it would have been within reasonable dice rolls for one or the other of us to win.
I think
I would have got lucky, but it wouldn't be like crazy.
Yeah, my numbers would overwhelm you. You would lose the most men out of this whole situation, but you could still take away a chunk of my division, either the Mileti or the 62nd. You could have taken... And the 62nd have just lost 7 tanks. You could have taken away some infantry as well. There could have been some losses.
What I was weighing up was like, is it worth losing the 7th, my big forward division,
to
cripple 2 of your forward divisions? Mm-hmm. And I think it would have been in my head.
I mean...
I think I would have gone for that if you hadn't pinned the infantry.
Because I think another thing is the 7th, while they're not there right now, they are still here. They're still in the area. Yeah, they're not out the woods.
They've not become irrelevant. And also, what I've been working out for my movement is I won't be doing any combat in my movement phase next session. I'll be consolidating the 7th.
Yes, you're trying to make them an actual force.
My plan is to put... I think it'll end up being... maybe 2 to 3 infantry in there, and maybe 3 to 4 guns, which means all the tanks can go, theoretically, with the combined arms rules. And I can also start being like, what am I going to pin? What am I going to try and take out the fight? So, by the end of turn 1, the ending bits of Upstage 3 that we're going to do next...
Yeah.
I'm hoping for the 7th to become much more of a autonomous fighting. Like, I can throw them into it. I don't need to be worried about, like, infantry battalions being near them so they can support.
Yes, which I'm I'm not super nervous about because I've got a lot more divisions sitting around than you do in that area.
Yes.
But all in all, it's give and take. And I think when it comes to the forces I've got committed there, I'm happy with what I've got garrisoning Bardia.
Yes.
And I'm comfortable with what I've got along that border, all the way down to Siwa, because I've got the Saharan detachment there, and there's no one else to compete with them. So I've got a very comfortable position now. I feel a lot more confident, because I'll admit, when you took Maddalena, I was convinced I've lost the scenario. I was sat there thinking I've actually fucked it and I've lost this whole thing.
That's kind of what I was thinking of it as, is like, this is a decisive blow to get rid of your air superiority.
And it really felt like it.
But you did have air reserves, and also...
And they did some damage to this op stage.
It was probably... If it had been a flat division for 6 SGSUs worth of planes, it wouldn't have been worth it.
Yes.
Like, I'd rather have an extra division and you have more planes.
Yeah, the trade-off is a difficult one to navigate at the moment because we haven't seen it play out over multiple turns.
Yeah.
But so far, so good. How are you feeling about the current situation overall?
Overall, extremely positive. I'm enjoying the game, which
God,
seemed doubtful. I think I'm on the back foot scenario-wise, but that's been fun thinking about.
Yeah.
Like, and the planning and, like, learning from the mistakes we're making in this. So
the fact it's pendulumed in a single op stage goes to show how quickly it can turn around, though.
yeah.
You can pull this back. I could double down. There's so many ways this can go already. Well, I guess there's 2 ways. Either you win or I win. But the ways in which that can be done...
No, but the ways we get there are, like... Because will that down south seaward thing be incredibly relevant, or will it be completely not?
Yeah, is that something that's happened now, but it doesn't actually affect the game?
Is that something I should be spending next turn, and maybe some of this turn, sending units down there? Or my current thinking... It's only valuable if you have the stuff up north.
Exactly.
So,
and right now I do not have any near chance of getting that without clearing out the entire of the north corridor, which isn't happening next op stage, I can tell you that.
No.
So, but that's where we are now. That's a recap of what's happening currently, and it's genuinely fun.
Oh, yeah.
And I didn't imagine...
enjoying the game.
It's fucking wild that we're enjoying the game. I had a fun time today, Andy.
Yeah.
I actually enjoyed the game.
No, it was a fun one.
And part of that, I think, is down to my company, and you're very welcome for that.
Cheers, mate.
Yeah. No worries, man. You're welcome to it anytime. Anytime we're playing this game, I'll come round, we'll hang out. Just don't message me outside of hours, you know?
No, I know not to.
Yeah, I'll not be pleased if you do that. Get a hold of yourself. Don't get in touch unless it's about the game.
Speaking of getting in touch...
Oh, that was fucking smooth. All right, then, let's have a little look and see what we've got in the mailbag. Andy, over to you.
Yeah, I'll hit you first. This one's from Joe. He sent it through the web form on the website. So, hi there, gents. I found out about the show through one of your Reddit posts, and I've been really enjoying hearing you guys wrestle with the process of learning the game, and indeed coming to terms with what you have committed yourselves to. My brother and I are currently playing a Hex and Counter War game, albeit one far less complex, Rising Eagles Australis 1805, and your struggle in recording rules to reality are deeply relatable to us both. I just finished episode 23, so I'm not caught up, but I feel compelled to message you to say that I fully endorse Andy's proposal to build huge, confusing stone monuments for the sole purpose of gaslighting who or whatever comes after us. While I understand James's concern that we might be remembered as a bunch of slave masters who forced untold thousands to build the Sphinx of Kent or various car park henges, I think the ship has sailed on that bit of our legacy.
Agreed.
We are, as a culture, not exactly morally upstanding. We might as well have a little fun with our descendants and confuse the shit out of them, even if it means they think we enslaved people. I also wanted to add my voice to the clamour for merch. Put Subtle Humble Brave on mugs and t-shirts and shit, and I'll buy all of it, along with Lysiv's map ponchos. You guys deserve to make a bit of cash for this ridiculous project you've undertaken. I'm looking forward to spending the next decade or so with you guys, journeying through the deserts of your minds. Subtly, humbly, and bravely yours, Joe.
Well, Joe, if you want to send us some cash, stick it in an envelope, post it straight to us. We'll send you the P.O. box personally. It doesn't matter the currency, just stick it in an envelope. We'll exchange that afterwards. You don't need to worry about that. We'll figure out a way.
And thanks for the support on the confusing stone monuments.
Yeah, I mean, my concerns were highlighted in there, and in the end, it was common ground. We found it. We found that bit in between. We found that safe space. So all in all, I'm fine with it. I think when it comes to the stone monuments, we need to leave some sort of legacy, and I agree with Joe. We've kind of fucked it.
We have. So let's have some fun.
Yeah, not us personally, but yeah, in the words of Lady Gaga.
The collective us.
Lady Gaga said, "Let's have some fun. This beat is sick. I want to take a ride on your disco stick." The disco stick, of course, being a large obelisk in the middle of Coventry.
Yes.
Naturally, that is where the disco stick will be. So, Joe...
And the poker face is us lying about history to the future.
Yeah, you know what? Lady Gaga's really hit the War with the May lore.
Yeah.
And good on her. She's a big fan, by the way.
Oh, that's good to hear.
Yeah, she's emailed in as well, but we'll get to that later, because, you know, we just do them in order for the most part, unless it's about Heathcliff. Then, for some reason, they take priority. As for merch, all right, so addressing the merch thing, because we keep on saying we're looking into it, we have committed a bit of time in the next few weeks to look into this, because we found, at the moment, we've got everything nailed down for the US stuff. The shipping is reasonable. We've got that sorted. We need to sort out the UK stuff. And the last thing we want to do is put out merch that's available, but only in one part of the world, and otherwise you'll be charged out the eyeballs. We don't want people to be put in that box. So we will be looking into that soon, Joe, we promise. And everyone else who's been listening. The poncho thing, we're really struggling on. I don't know that we'll do that anytime soon.
No, that seems like we need custom poncho makers.
And they're not easy to come across.
Ponchos are hard to find in terms of drop shipping stuff.
Yeah, would you believe it? They don't have them preset. But stuff is coming. Next few weeks. Hang on, guys. We are going to put something together. We're just going to make sure it's relatively fair for everybody to be able to get them shipping-wise. And for cost, we're trying to keep them to a minimum so that people aren't paying out their eyeballs for what will likely be something designed by us. So it's not going to be amazing. It's just going to be charming.
But I will say, as impractical as it's going to be, the poncho is going to happen at one point because I want one.
Yeah, there's going to be at least 2 ponchos. There might be more available for people who aren't us. Who knows? But when it comes to you playing a hex encounter game with your brother, kudos, because before this, I would never have touched any of these games. I only started this one because I fetishize anything that's unfinishable or undoable. When it comes to any sort of hex encounter game, I have an inherent respect for it. So it's good to see that you're part of the family, Joe, and you're bringing the family in, you and your brother. So I hope the game goes well. And thanks for supporting Andy's psychosis when it comes to his Common Ground segments. And yeah, merchant bound. We promise. We promise. So thanks, Joe.
Cheers.
We've got a message from Neil.
What's Neil got to say?
Well, the subject is House of Doom, and this is a great one because it relates to, again, House of Leaves, my favorite book, as you all know by this point. Howdy, gents. So what Neil does say is that this first bit isn't for the podcast. However, I'm going to read it out because this is something that is, I think it's personally interesting, and it's not anything personal for Neil. He's not divulging any personal secrets. But he says it's related to the recent mentions of high literature and not suffering in the desert, mental or otherwise. If you like old school Doom, take a look at the myhouse.wad Doom 2 mod. Sorry for being cryptic, but it's the best one if you go in blind. I'm not going to get too much into it, Neil. I agree. This is a Doom mod called My House, and it's actually how I found the book House of Leaves. If anybody is into playing Doom or Doom mods, check out that game. I won't give any context. Look it up. It's incredible. So yes, I do know about it, Neil. Thank you for sending it in. It's actually how I found the book in the first place. I love it. It's fantastic. Just wanted to put that out there. Changing gears, I appreciate the suspicion and would love to be the owner of the Heathcliff IP, but alas, I am just a fan of weird projects. Neil, sorry, I'm only just realising you're the person who also messaged about Heathcliff. I didn't realise you're the same guy. Wow, you and I are the same person. Why aren't you here instead of Andy, man? Come on, Andy, shuffle off. Shuffle off.
You need the contrast.
We should be doing this. Now on to something that can be for the podcast. I would like to propose a house rule. Each player gets a camel herd token that can move the same number of hexes as the slowest infantry. Each herd starts on the furthest edge of the board from your opponent and requires no upkeep. If a herd occupies a hex that contains any sort of combat, the herd dies and is replaced next shipping phase back on your edge of the map. The objective is to do a tour of every major village on the map with your herd. You must stop in each village, so no just passing through. Why bother moving the herd? Same reason you bother playing the game. It's fun, hopefully. Subtly, humbly, and bravely, yours, Neil.
I do like that as a homebrew rule. Just, you need some guy to be exploring, visiting stuff. Doesn't seem to be that war-related.
Yeah, I think, well, we need to do something with the fucking camels, and we still don't know what. So, you know what, Neil, you're as good as anyone when it comes to suggestions, because I like this idea of, it's kind of like moving a pawn across a chessboard. You get them to the end, maybe you get some sort of prize at the end.
Yeah, if the camels visit every town in Libya and Egypt, they become panzers.
Or Rommel splits in two, and there's now two of them.
Oh, I don't want two Rommels.
He's like the worms in the film Evolution.
Oh, no. It's a bit of your personal lore I didn't want to bring into this.
I'll not get into Evolution. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. No, they're not ready for that. So, Neil, I think you might be onto something with these camels, because we do need to implement something at the end of all this. When it comes to the finale of the game, when we release our own addenda to the rules, the camels need to have some sort of purpose.
Well, that's the last common ground.
It is. It's what happens with the camels.
What happens with the camels. And it's going to be a whole episode.
It is. It's going to be the camel episode. It's going to be the coda on this project. But yes, when it comes to my house, check that out. And when it comes to Neil, thank you, because we need to do something with these fucking camels, honestly. Oh, right. You know what? There we go. That's a whistle-stop tour on the mail, because we've got some history to cover.
We do.
But if you do need to get in touch, or want to get in touch, there's probably no need to. But if you have that itch, then the way to get in touch with us is info@warwithamate.co.uk, or our Instagram, which is warwithamate. Our website is also warwithamate.co.uk, and we've got a web form on there. So fire it away on any of those methods, and we will get back. Read it out. If there is anything you don't want for the podcast, just fire it over. But when it's something as interesting as that, I will bring it up, because it relates to stuff I love. And I think everyone should check out stuff I love.
That's fair. I mean, you phrased it weirdly, but yeah. Share what you enjoy.
Sorry, that's a better way to put it. That made it sound a bit hubris-filled and egotistical, maybe even narcissist-fueled. But no. Check out what you love and encourage other people to love it. Andy,
James.
What about history?
What about history? Indeed? Let's do some history.
I'm excited, because I don't know what this is going to be.
Oh, no, you don't.
I don't know what you bring into the table here.
Okay.
We left the Maori last week, and I was touched massively by the Maori. Who are we looking at, or what are we looking at this week? I've got no idea what's coming.
Now we're on the other side of the conflict.
Oh, dear.
And we're doing a guy.
Right, who is the guy?
This name you might know.
Okay.
Italo Balbo.
I don't know the name.
It's not ringing a bell?
It doesn't, no.
Okay. Because it's been mentioned before. We'll start with the end, I guess, because it was mentioned. This was the guy who got shot down with friendly fire. Graziani's rival.
Oh, yes, of course.
Yes.
During Graziani's rise to success.
Yes.
The man who was mysteriously destroyed.
Indeed. Italo Balbo, Times Magazine cover feature.
Wow.
One of the quadrumvirate of fascism. The governor of Libya. and the Grand Air Marshal of Italy.
Okay, so he's got a lot of titles. If they've got a lot of titles, I've come to become suspicious of.
Oh.
I've come to become. Oh my god, what's going on? Oh, I'll admit, I've had a few brewskis today.
Yeah.
So my coherence, my cohesion level is dropped a little bit, it would seem.
But we're going to start with his early life, but just set a tone. Here's the quote, and this is from the man we're featuring. Better to deny everything, to destroy everything, in order to renew from the ground up. So that's a
Controversial quote.
Yes.
Interesting opinion.
So on the 5th of June, 1896, Balbo was born in Ferrara in the northern part of Italy. At this time, it's the Kingdom of Italy. He was born in the schoolhouse. Both his parents worked out as teachers.
Okay. Education man.
Kind of. He was described by people around him at this age as undisciplined and restless, but smart and charismatic.
Oh, I don't like how close that is to me.
Yeah. His father... His father would recall the family's military history. Various members of the family are involved with Napoleon's... There's a rich military tradition in the family, and he's also completely obsessed with adventure novels at the time.
Okay.
His family is deeply politically divided. His dad's a monarchist, his brother's a revolutionary syndicist, and his other brother, who Balbo agrees with at the time, is a Republican. Not in the American sense, in the we shouldn't have a royal family sense.
Right, okay, yeah.
They used to have, like, knockdown, drag-out fights in the family home about this stuff. The only rule was you couldn't bang on the dinner table during dinner. That was a step too far.
I like that they've got a code.
Yeah.
It's nice to be lawful evil.
So when Balbo's 14, he lies about his age to join an expeditionary force intended to join an Albanian revolution against the Ottomans, which is an incredibly specific and political thing for a 14-year-old to be involved. He sends his mum a letter, which he receives the next day, like, outlining all this. But the expedition fell apart and got turned back on the border, so he's back home a few days later, after having been like, I'm going out, I'm doing it. He's described at this time, and this is the first time he's described it, but it fits sort of throughout his entire life. He doesn't view politics as like a collection of social issues or movements, like how much the working class are played, unions, that kind of thing. He sees it as like an adventure or a crusade in the name of patriotism. So he's got a very like somewhat romanticized view of politics and what it means. As a student, he led a strike at his school to try and get extra holidays.
You know what? I went to school with this guy. I
was thinking this when I saw that he joined up for a bizarre military expedition when he was 14. I was like, I was picturing the kid who would have done this.
Yeah, I knew like a group of them.
So he tries to form a student strike to get a new holiday, and his dad goes, I've absolutely had enough of this. And sends him to school in Milan, which is the same city his 7-year-older brother lived in and was politically active. So, like, a 15-year-old Balbo started going to meetings and even writing in local newspapers.
Okay, well, he's getting a bit more involved at least. He's got a passion.
Yeah. He does well at school once he's sent away. And when he's 16, his father sends him to study in San Marino, where he has very good grades through high school up until 1914, which I'm not sure if you know, a fairly interesting time in world history.
Yeah, I believe something happened around that time, something global.
Indeed. He's politically active at this time, and he meets Michelle Bianchi, who will be another one of the 4 quadrumvirate who do the March on Rome and become the under Mussolini, the top layer of
Okay,
the
so
fascists.
this is the forming of that little
Yes,
corner of
fascism
politics.
doesn't exist at this time necessarily. A lot of the ideas that will grow into it do, but fascist as in...
As we know it.
Do you know where the word fascist comes from?
I don't actually know, not the etymology.
The Roman bundle of sticks with like the axe sticking out. Have you ever seen that?
Yes, yeah.
That was a fascisti or something like that. But basically that was the absolute rule of law for Rome. So if someone held that,
Oh, wow.
they
Okay.
had and that's where the word fascist comes from, is them using these old symbols.
Right, okay. That's quite cool, actually.
Yeah. Things are kicking off in 1914 Italy.
Yes.
And globally. Balbo is very much in favor of intervention. Italy's neutral at the time, but Balbo and Mussolini, who he is getting rolling at this time, and the various people who will become fascist leaders, tend to have a interventionist stance. They want to get involved in the war against Austria, who's technically an ally of Italy.
Well, yeah, things got dicey, didn't they? Yeah.
Yeah. He starts giving speeches at this time, sort of regionally, but what he's mainly involved in is street fights and beating up people who disagree or heckle other people's speeches, or if a socialist tries to give a speech.
What happened to that plucky kid who was writing for the newspaper?
This is what happens when kids are too into politics.
They become violent thugs in the street.
Yeah. So yeah, he meets Mussolini at this time, and he's regularly seen around Mussolini's newspaper offices.
Okay, right.
And eventually, him and the interventionists get what they want, and Italy enters the war in 1915.
Right, okay, yeah.
He joins the Italian Royal Army. He's overall sort of a competent and enthusiastic soldier, but doesn't fly too high. Although, speaking of flying, he does apply to get flight training.
Oh, don't do it, kid.
Because he's always dreamed of flying, and he grows bored with going on patrol and sitting in trenches. So he does get accepted to get flight training on the 16th of October 1917. 2 days later, the Austrian and Germans make a huge push into Capitino, which is a famous battle, and he has to return to his unit before he gets to fly at all. Or what's left of his units, I should say. But in this time, he does get promoted to lead an assault platoon, and he's obsessed with pushing his men. It's like these adventure stories, these like heroic, patriotic stories drive him. So he's obsessed with honor and like that kind of achievement. So he's pushing his men on more and more dangerous missions. They're like attacking larger groups. And then he fights at the Battle of Mont Grappa, which is a three-phase battle on the Italian border between them and the Austrians and the Germans. And then finally just the Austrians. The Germans sort of fall off around this time.
Yeah, so I hear.
So this is where 70% of Italians who die in this war die on the hills of Mount Grappa.
Oh, Jesus, I did not know that.
Yeah. So his platoon ends up, it's several hundred men. By the end, there's 17 men left. Him and the survivors survived by playing dead in a shell crater.
Oh, God.
And then waiting for cover of darkness and getting out of there. So by the end of the war, he's picked up 2 silver stars and a bronze star, which are, ranks in the German, like Medal of Honor, that type of thing.
Yes, yeah.
But, and so he heads back to Florence to finish a law degree, which he'd started before World War One.
Right.
This time, however, he's a bad student. Something's changed. He's gone from breezing through classes to like he barely passes this. Although he does meet the woman who will become his wife, Countess Emanuela Florio.
A countess?
Yes. He would cheat on her a lot.
Okay.
But they did stay married. He seemed aside from the cheating, a relatively good husband by all accounts.
I mean, that's a big aside.
It's a big aside from.
You have to really cut a big chunk off.
But he is relative to other high-level fascists. Like, Mussolini's constantly fucking people. Like, he's cheating on his wife like a respectable amount for the time and social circles he moves in.
Wow.
At this time, his worldview is pretty unrefined. It basically boils down to two things. He's very patriotic, and he hates socialists.
Well, we know he hates socialists. He fights them in the street.
Indeed he does. Which means he's extremely pissed off when he returns to Ferrara in 1920, which at this point is firmly and outwardly socialist.
Oh, dear.
To the point of the day of rest has been moved from Sunday to Monday. They're hanging red flags from the churches and the town hall. This year comes to be known as the 2 red years in Italian history, where, as well as a uptick in socialism, communism, there's also an uptick in violence. So he's back in his hometown now, and the fascist party have been formed now, and his town quickly gains 200 and then like 1,000 members before the end of the year. But he doesn't join yet. And in fact, at one point, he gets into a public argument with a group of fascists, and they threaten to beat the shit out of him very publicly until he leaves. A month later, he's a member of the fascist party at the age of 25.
Oh dear, you've radicalized a fascist.
Yeah, under 3 conditions.
Okay.
He gets a salary.
Okay, yeah.
He gets a job at a bank when the fascist fight is over.
Okay.
So basically, when they win, he wants a job as a bank inspector.
That's
Which seems low-hanging fruit from what this guy's going to do.
This guy really comes out aces.
Yeah. Well, that's also a thing. His wife marries him, and she's like, because he's a loser at this time.
Sorry, I also just love his wife marries him as a sentence.
But she like keeps believing and he's going to do better and better and seems to push him. Her father hated him until he died. Even when he was the second most powerful man in Italy, her father was like, this guy sucks.
He keeps cheating on her.
Yeah. So yeah, at the age of 25, he joins the fascists, and then this is when he gets involved in the black shirts and founding and running in them.
Oh.
Which we'll get into next week. There's one last thing to mention for 1920 before we move on.
Yeah.
During this time, he joined the Freemasons.
Oh, no. This guy is ticking every red flag box.
Yeah.
Oh, like, this is the worst kind of guy you could meet at a pub.
Oh, that is what this guy is. Like, the worst guy you could meet at a pub, but then has a knack for violence and takes over a country. So, yeah, we'll go into the rest of him, but this is the setup for him.
Well, I have a funny feeling I won't have the same poignant release I will at the end of his history segment that I did with the Maori.
Well, no, we know how his ends.
Well, yeah, but I don't feel like I'm going to have any sorrowful thoughts when he's shot down from the sky. I already, and I'm sorry to say this to somebody I've never met and can form a personal opinion on, I already don't like him very much.
No.
He's not a nice guy. He's not
a nice guy, but not in the way of Graziani. Graziani seemed like a psycho. This guy seems like the most annoying kid in your school, was given everything he wanted.
Yeah, this guy seems like a sort of spoiled obsessive who's also cheating on his wife and is a violent thug.
I also think in the 1920s, the late 19-teens, all these people are writing in fucking newspapers. Like Mussolini, all the people who will become high-level fascists. It's like the equivalent of social media.
The press are the bad guys.
Well, he's got a newspaper column. It's the equivalent of like a right-winger's podcast now. But that's the same like level of cultural
I mean, the fact that I've compared myself to him in terms of being charismatic, and then now you've said that he's got a podcast.
He would have a podcast.
It wouldn't be War with a Mate.
No.
It would be a war against them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's a bad guy by the sounds of it. But I'm interested to see where his endeavor takes him. I know where it takes him. It takes him to a fiery death from the skies.
Yeah, but boy, does he set fire to the world before he dies.
Well, I'm interested to see where good old Balbo goes, because sounds like the guy is on a one-man mission to cause havoc.
Yeah, this is the nice part.
Oh my god. You've not said anything nice about him, apart from the first few minutes when he said he wrote for a newspaper.
Anyone.
Okay.
Oh yeah, he's also writing for newspapers this whole time. That's...
Okay. Well, all right. Yeah. Okay. We'll get through this guy. This guy is going to be less sympathetic of a character, it would seem.
Yes. But yeah, we'll find out some more info about those black shirts of yours while we find out about him.
I look forward to it. I look forward to finding out more about my guys. My guys who've caused you quite a bit of havoc over the last few weeks.
Yeah, and it makes sense why, but we'll get to that.
And I'm sorry that I've caused that havoc, Andy. I don't know if there's a way you can maybe forgive me.
I don't know. Are we too far gone?
I don't think we're ever too far gone.
Do you have something that can bring us back?
Maybe a little bit of touchy-feely?
I was really hoping you'd say common ground.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Common ground. And now for something nicer. A little oasis in the war. It's time for some common ground. I'm trying the intro for common ground. I'm recording it. Maybe. Yeah.
There we are.
So our common ground this week, it, as always, is an opportunity for us to come together and find a bit of solace in amongst this conflict. We've pushed each other away today, Andy. I've pushed you away from Fort Maddalena. You've pushed me away from my comfort zone a little bit by talking about somebody who's just quite frankly a nasty man. However, what we can do now is bring it back a little bit and agree on something, hopefully. A middle ground in a topic that I will decide. And as I say, I'm a little bit socially lubricated today. So I've decided to snipe this one out there from the zeitgeist of the current state of affairs of the world. And I've decided what we should do, Andy, is we should give up on space. We should give up on space and we should just fix the here and now. I think we should have a ban on anything space-related until we fix Earth.
I'm in favour of this.
Well, it's going to be a very short common ground.
Yeah, unfortunately. But I guess what's your logic here?
So my logic is we're doing all this stuff, right? Well, I say we. I'm not lumping myself in with this we. You got your Elon Musks. You've got your NASAs. You've got all these people who want to go out to space, and they want to go to the moon. They want to go to all these different planets. They want to go to the asteroids. They want to try and figure out what's going on out there. Why? We don't know what's going on here. We haven't got it figured out yet.
Okay.
Walk before you can run is what I'm looking at with this. I think we need to figure out here first.
Okay.
We need to patch together Earth. We need to figure out what's going on. There's too many bad things going on, Andy. We need to stop the bad things before we go into space. Otherwise, we're just going to start contaminating the moon.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. Do you not think there's anything inspirational about going to space? A sort of collective effort of humankind to push its borders?
I guess if you can point to one thing about going to space that's ever been collective and hasn't been a war between nations.
But we've only been to space for one time, and it was the Cold War.
See, my issue is looking at all the space stuff, it's always competition. It's always, well, I want to go there first. I want to do this bigger. It's never, oh, let's all do this. The only way that could happen is if we're doing an Armageddon-style thing.
I do think we should be going to space.
Okay. What, now?
Yep.
Okay.
Let's go.
Let's hear it.
I do agree. I don't think private individuals should be allowed.
Katy Perry. We brought her up last week. She went to space.
Yeah, that's not allowed.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, we definitely strike that off.
Basically, billionaires should stop building rockets.
Yeah, I get nervous when billionaires build rockets because I'm thinking, what's going on?
I get nervous when they don't explode.
Well, yeah, I'm thinking, what? Right, so if they're building rockets, where are they going?
They're fleeing.
Yeah, that's what I'm scared of.
Yeah.
I think they realize what's happening.
I think it should be, you can leave if everyone else does. So you either need to give space travel to everyone, or you're stuck here, you need to fix it.
Right, actually.
But I do think NASA and stuff do good space exploration.
NASA are definitely better than all of these private businesses. They're better than SpaceX. They're better than these sort of... what's the Virgin one? Virgin Galactic, is it? Or
Yeah.
got some sort of wacky name for it where they do these like tours where you fly over the planet.
That's all bullshit.
Well, that's sightseeing. That's tourism.
You should just go to one of those rooms with the big fans on the floor.
Yeah, well, that'd be fun.
That's what you want.
I think what you touched on a point there in terms of we should go first, they should go last almost.
No.
But I think an alternative is, I think every time we send a ship into space, we need at least one rich person on there.
Yes. A lottery for people with a net worth over a certain amount.
Yes, they have to go up, and then that way, they're going to make sure it's safe.
Which is fine, because remember, rich people are rich because they're smarter than us and they work harder than us. Exactly. And there's no other environmental reasons.
Yeah, so
they're the perfect people to send into space.
Yeah, they can only be a net
because they
positive.
can fix the issues.
Yes, so they go up there. They're clearly engineers, or bright in some other way.
They hire engineers, which means they are technically...
They have to be.
Yeah.
If you're rich and you run a company that's primarily engineering, you're clearly a very solid engineer.
Yeah, especially if you tell everyone you are.
It would seem that the subtext is quickly becoming text.
No, the fun thing is it applies to all of them.
But that does mean that we were thinking of one.
Yeah.
But no, I think we need to make sure that everybody's in on this. If we're all doing space stuff, it's all of us doing space stuff.
I think they can't go first or last, because they'll either send everyone off.
Or they'll stay.
Or they'll stay.
Yes, I agree, yes.
They go in the middle.
Yes, it can't be a trick.
Yeah.
And they can't have an escape pod either.
No.
Right, okay, that's it. Yeah, we don't... This might be controversial. No escape pods on the space stuff. Because they'll use it.
Yeah.
I know about the Titanic. I know what happened there.
In fact, let's take all that money, use it to build a space program, and then give them plastic surgery and send them up so no one knows they're rich.
Oh, and then we make a game show out of it.
Yes. It's like Survivor, but the loser gets thrown out an airlock because people think they're a billionaire.
It's a bit of an undercover boss thing.
Yeah.
But it's also the game Werewolf.
Yes.
I like it. Or Secret Hitler, which is topical for the game.
Yeah.
I think, we need to really put some safeguards in place. All right, fine. I'm fine with space stuff continuing if it's under the provision that all of these billionaires, all of these executives that also want to go to space or dabble in spacefaring, they need to be thrown in some sort of lottery, as you've pointed out, is a good idea. I think we need to make sure that there's collateral.
Yes. And also, they're getting no credit for it.
No, you can't get credit.
No.
It's meant to be a collective thing for the human race. It's only credit when it's worked. When we've got a material positive that we can measure and go, look, this has actually paid off. And then we can give a kudos to whoever actually pulled it off.
That's fair.
But no more of this. Let's build rockets for the sake of it. Because if you do that, I think you're just trying to leave.
I think you're either trying to leave or you're just scamming the government out of money.
I think it's both, man. I think it's
also,
column A and column B.
You cannot be involved in space and own your own bunker.
No,
you can't have like a post-apocalyptic survival bunker and be worried about the future. Either make things better for humanity or go full hermit mode.
Yeah,
don't pretend to do one.
Yeah, none of this sitting on the fence. You need to be in a bunker or you need to be in space. No, I agree. You can't have both.
Yeah.
You can't have a company that does all this digging and also does space stuff. Can you?
So we got some common ground there, which seems to be fuck billionaires. But also stay out of space.
It's not. It's billionaires. The millionaires aren't even that bad anymore.
Oh no, I don't care about millionaires.
Yeah, they're a fucking drop in the ocean. They are pissing into an ocean of piss at this point. It doesn't really matter. Well, I think we've covered that off. We've managed to put the wrongs right. We've talked about the game, and we've addressed pretty much everything we need to address. Andrew, what do you think?
I think people should stay subtle, humble, and brave.
I think they should.
Tune in next week.
I think they should. And if you need to drop us some communication, you know how to. We're not in space. We're not in a bunker. We're committed to this.
We're at the other end of info@wolvermate.co.uk.
That's an email address.
At Wolvermate on Instagram.
That's an Instagram address.
Or wolvermate.co.uk. Fill out a web form.
That's a web address.
Get in touch.
Get in touch or don't. We know you're listening. We love you. And stay
subtle, humble, and brave.
Deserts of your minds. I was going to say, you've in the deserts of your mind. Stay in the deserts of your mind. It's safe there.
Stay subtle, humble, and brave in the deserts of your mind.
That works. That should be the slogan.
Nope.
That should be how it ends. That should be how we wrap this up every time. We just keep this going. It just continues. It's comfortable. It's nice. It's a good vibe. Just as we can.
You done?
Yeah. Well, I'm going to be playing the outro over this bit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is...
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, something fell apart somewhere along the lines here. We can flip this whenever. Okay, so we do it now? Yeah, let's do it.
Thanks for listening.